a motherfucker, hoes be looking okay.
Y'all, it's your girl Kira, and I am here on the couch, and we about to talk that shh. So, I was gonna bring my first guest on today, but I felt like I should have just started this thing off being natural and let y'all know like a little bit about me. I'm not gonna get too deep into my lifestyle because that's some tea for another episode. But I'm gonna give y'all like the little scoop on your girl so you know like who I am, what I do. So I am 28. I got 2 kids. I'm in the military, but I ain't gonna be doing too much of that military talk on here because that's for the birds. I ain't talking about no military on my. I might dip into it, but I'm not getting into the military on this podcast. This podcast is definitely like real life, my life stuff. No military. I'm in college, so that's why it took so long for y'all to get this episode. Cause I've been locked in. I've been locked in for real. So, we just gonna sit here and vibe today. Like nothing too much. We just vibing. Like I want y'all to know who I am before I just start putting out episodes. But stay tuned for my next episode though, because I got something for y'all. But let's start off with like some little icebreakers. I got a guest here, and I'm not gonna put him on camera, but I'm gonna let him ask the questions to pop this thing off. So if y'all hear somebody in the background, it's my co-host for today. He gonna pop this off, like he gonna get me into the conversation mode that y'all want me to get into. So to you.
So earlier you was talking about relationship problems, your status.
Mm-hmm.
You single, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For how long?
Okay, so I am single, and I've been single for about a good 2 weeks. And if you know, like if you one of them females like me, like I've been single, but I ain't completely cut ties because I was like ties are cut, but you know when we broke up, I didn't completely cut the ties because it was like it wasn't no unfinished business, but it was unfinished conversations that needed to happen and emotions and stuff that needed to get out before I just go cold turkey. But I'm single because it's not because I can't blame the guy this time. I gotta put some of the blame on me because I messed up, and I think that was the icing on the cake for the relationship. But I did my part. So me personally, no, y'all don't know me, so I'm gonna tell y'all. I don't really do relationships simply because I have had nothing but bad relationships. Every relationship I've been in has been bad. And I'm gonna give y'all some tea on some of my relationships because that shit juicy. But this one in particular, I felt like I was ready. I felt like I took the time that I needed to get myself together, get my mental together. But when I was ready, I felt like the person wasn't ready because we went through a honeymoon stage. Everybody go through the honeymoon stage where we was like locked in for real. But that honeymoon stage ended way before it's supposed to end. And I'm just like, how it started off and then how it ended, I was just like lost because that shit started off real good. But
okay, so question, do you think y'all wasn't compatible? Or do you think there wasn't enough like communication and like compromise?
Communication definitely was the issue in our relationship. There wasn't enough communication or compromise. And when I say compromise, let me tell y'all something. I be up 4:30 in the morning. I be at the house by 5 o'clock. And I work all the way to 5, sometimes 6:30. But I still make time for what I want. And I just feel like he had his own life and he had a job and all this stuff, but he didn't prioritize the relationship over the other stuff he had going on. And then I got to put some of that blame on me because that sometimes I wouldn't understand it because I felt like I always wanted the two main things I always want in my relationship is time and loyalty. But I value communication. Communication is like my number one thing. Like if you ever talk to me, I text fast as hell. Like, and you would think that I don't have a life, how fast I text. but I'm a communication person. But when I see that the other person lack communication, the one thing that I have learned from therapy, I learned that like I have to make people aware of how I value communication, because some people don't get it. Some people maybe not being in a relationship so long that they forget how to communicate with their significant other. So I think that was the case. But then I felt like me constantly telling him, oh, why you couldn't communicate that? I felt like it turned into me nagging. So you know how dudes is when they feel like you nagging, they get, they get super distant. So communication and compromise was definitely two main factors of the breakup.
Okay, so earlier you held yourself accountable. You said you made mistakes.
Yeah.
What was your mistakes?
My mistakes is I had some little shit going on in my past that I should have dead completely before moving into the relationship. But let me say this, before I got into the relationship with him, I had no communication with old dude from the past.
So why, when you jump in a relationship, would you allow this person be back in your life?
That's why I fucked up at, because I had to understand that when I was fucking with the person that I was messing with, I was in such a vulnerable space, and I had just had my baby. I was going through postpartum. I deployed, came back, broke my arm through the doom. I was messing with him. So I had a lot of, factors that's played in while I was messing with him. And I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like it was always, when I cut it off before getting into the relationship with him, I should have left it at that. But somehow when I started back popping out and I started back showing my face, I just kind of sunk right back into that hole, which fucked up, because I kind of put my dude on game about the situation, not about the guy, because I don't do too much pillow talking. But I told him, like, this what happened with the GOOOO, so he'll know, because I already know how old boy act when we in the same room, and I would never want to put nobody in no position that for them to feel like, oh damn, like what they got going on. So I warned him. But the guy that I used to mess with, he the type of dude that like he want everybody to see what the fuck he got going on. So that kind of played a part into like why I didn't even start back fucking with him. I just communicated with him when there should have been no communication. And when he seen that, when my dude seen that, that drew a red flag. And I wasn't even mad at him. I was more mad at myself, because I had dead that situation, and I should have left that shit dead.
Okay. So what's next?
What's next? It ain't no relationship. I know that much. I'm done with relationships for a minute, because I don't got nothing to heal from. Like, this was one of them relationships that was an in and out. So I don't really got too much to heal from. Like, me and Buddy still cool. Like, that my dog. He not my dog, but that my dog. You get what I'm saying? Like, we cool. There wasn't no bad terms. We both and we still communicate. But it's just like a relationship that ain't for me. And plus, I'm in the process of transitioning, whether I'm transitioning out of Clarksville or I'm transitioning in Clarksville, but going to a different unit. So I don't really got time for no relationship. But I communicate with a few, whatever. Communicate. Not dating, not nothing. Just straight communication, socializing, voodoo. Yeah.
Okay, so you started this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What is your goals for this podcast? What are you looking forward to? What type of topics?
So I think I mentioned in the beginning, but I'm gonna say it again. My goal for this podcast is like, it's not just about me, because it's definitely a lot of people coming on this podcast that's not a part of my life. Like, I got some DJs coming on here. I got some local artists coming on here. I even got people from the military, but they're not coming on here to talk from the military. They people that I genuinely built bonds with in the military. I got him coming on here. This a little from the past, a little freak from the past, but I got him coming on. But me and him got a cool ass relationship, so I felt like he was part of this. But my main reason for starting this podcast is because of my personality. I feel like this is my call, because I be talking, like, I really be talking that but I get the best advice to everybody else, and then I be the one with the worst situations. So I feel like this is my perfect time for me to kind of police myself up, but also like put that shit out into the world. Like, whatever y'all want, like, y'all can even make recommendations like in the comments. links, all that. Like, just tell me what y'all want to talk about because.
Okay, so earlier we heard you say raw and uncut. Is there anything that's off limits? Any topics off limits?
Boom. I was waiting. I was wondering he's gonna say it's nothing off limits on my podcast. But full disclosure, like I'm gonna talk to my guest before coming on the podcast, and I'm gonna be like, what's off limits for you? Cause what off limits for me may not be what's off limits for him. You get me? Cause nothing is off limits for me. Like when I say nothing besides my kids off limits. I talk about my kids. I'm gonna talk about my son because a guest that's coming on here, they got a child that's in a similar, situation as my child. But I'm talking about like my kids is off limits, as if like I'm not gonna get too much into my personal life with my kids. But actually, they is not off limits because I got to tell y'all a story about what happened with my daughter. So I feel like that's a story that I need to share to the world. And I feel like that's a story that I want to put out there, and I know it's relatable, but it may be different for some people. And I just want y'all perspective, and I'm not gonna take it and, like no feelings involved, because I know how I feel about something. Y'all may feel different, but that's what I like about myself. Like I'm able to accept constructive criticism. So I think that's gonna be my biggest factor in.
Okay, so it's your podcast. Of course, you're gonna give your input in the next episodes, but this is the only one where it's gonna be a deep dive on you. Is there anything you might want to tell your audience that you feel like might not got covered?
Okay, so a deep dive on me. That's good because it's a lot about me. I'm very adventurous, and that's like personal and sex life. So we're not gonna get that. That's another topic for another day. I'm very adventurous, but I'm very closed off. And when I say closed off, my real friends know, like, I go ghost. I have periods in my life where I go ghost. Nobody can get in contact with me besides my mother. Nobody else can contact me. That's just my way. Like, I haven't got that far in therapy yet to figure out another way of coping with.
That's a bad coping mechanism.
Yeah. Let me get there. I haven't got that far in therapy yet to not use that coping mechanism as my coping mechanism, because that's what I'm used to. But one thing that I have learned, my real friends over the years, and when I say my real friends, that's like LaMonquez, fucking Michael, Jamia, even though me and her don't talk like that, but Rosario, like Jernice, Tink, all y'all, like y'all really know, like when I disappear, it's not personal. That means I'm really trying to get my mental together, because I'm not the type of person, like, I wear my emotions all over my face, and I have already created this picture to the world that I'm just this happy person, and that's just because I am a natural happy person. I'm always smiling, I'm always making people laugh, but I don't show my pain too much on my face, and I don't like carrying it around. So when I take those periods to go ghost, that's when I get myself together. So that is something that I'm working on. What else y'all should know about me? So like I said, my kids are off limits. So I'm gonna say this now. Like, my son is autistic. He's on the spectrum. And then I have a daughter who I legally gave birth to, but I don't physically have her in my custody. But that's another story for another episode. I really don't do much. Like, I'm really chill. Like, my life is an open book, but it's not an open book because I really don't do much. So that's kind of like the basics. Like, I don't want to tap too much into myself, because those really like stuff that I'm really gonna talk on deep down. So I tapped onto it, but I ain't tapping into it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I think all the viewers looking forward to what's next.
Yeah.
And your guest.
I'm kind of looking for. You said what?
And your guest.
What?
Who you got coming?
Who I got coming?
Yeah, I think everybody looking forward to.
I know, like I'm looking forward to like my guest lineup. It's not. I don't have them in order, but for sure, I got Camp 850 coming through. He in the military. He a local artist. He from Florida. I got Corey, aka Jacory. He coming through. I got DJ Brave coming through. He a local DJ here in Clarksville. I got a couple of my friends coming through. Marika coming to sit on the couch. I got Tink sitting on the couch. I got I'm supposed to be getting my homeboy Brandon to sit on the couch, aka Slick. He supposed to be sitting on the couch. I would bring that nigga on the couch, but that's some grown folks shit that I really gotta think, is it worth bringing him on the couch? Cause he really play a role in a lot of bullshit that probably get talked about on the couch, but I don't think he grown enough to sit on the couch.
I think you need to have this man on here so he can defend himself, because.
But y'all, he's a certified liar.
Let them be the judge of that.
He's a certified. Yeah, they not gonna know. They not gonna know, because you gotta know him to know him. He's a certified liar. I think he need to come to. If y'all think that old boy need to come to the couch, put in the comment section.
I'm gonna speak.
Put in the comment section. Come to the couch.
I'm gonna speak for them. If this man is being discussed in his actions, I think he needs to be here to explain his actions.
I'm not bringing every motherfucker I talk about on it in my podcast on the couch.
This is a big
but he need to come to the couch. I'm gonna talk to him. If y'all want him on this couch, when I tell y'all this shit get juicy, if y'all want him on this couch, when I post this video, put in the comment section on the couch, and I'm bringing him on the couch. I don't care if I gotta bribe him. He coming on the couch. A little Don Julio eliminator take him very far. He'll come to the couch. But he got to come to the couch. But I don't know if I don't know if he should come to the couch. But he gonna be discussed a lot, because that motherfucker played a role in these last 2.5 years here at Clarksville. But off him. But it's a lot of stuff coming up next, y'all. Like, this ain't even the iceberg. Like, this is just tip. This is the tip. Because my life is a real movie. When I be telling something, that's the reason why I really started this podcast, y'all. To be honest, I be talking to people, I be telling people stuff, and they be like, how you process all this? I be like, don't process it. I was like, I was gonna start a podcast. They be like, you really should start a podcast. I'm like, what I'm gonna talk about? They was like, talk about the shit that you're gonna be talking about, but also bring people into it. And I'm like, that's a good idea. But so I'm gonna be full transparent with y'all. I'm not a camera person. So like right now, this is very out my element. Like, very out my element. I'm not a camera person. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't know how to talk to the camera. But like I said, this shit raw and unedited. Like, I'm not finna, if it's for me, it's for me. I feel pretty comfortable and I feel like I can do this. So, but it's a challenge.
Okay, so it's a lot of podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
It's millions of them. For the average person that might run across this, what do you bring different? Like, what's gonna be the appeal to your podcast?
So like, a lot of podcasts be scripted though. Right. Like, it come off as they say, oh, this is real or this that, but it be scripted. Like, I don't plan on scripting nothing in this podcast besides taking little questions from y'all comments and stuff like that. Nothing on this podcast is scripted. Like, I'm not finna sit up here and actually brainstorm like, oh, damn, episode 2 coming up. Like, with the flow. Like, okay. And I feel like let me tell you why I feel like that's my gift. Cause me and you sit here and have conversations all the time and they just flow and them shit just last. So I feel like that's my baseline for the podcast, because I know how to grasp the attention of a person and let the conversation just flow. So I feel like that's what gonna make me different from a lot of people. Okay. And then on top of that, so right now, like, this is like my first little shit-ass. Like, I don't condone drinking alcohol under the age of 21, but we're gonna be sipping. So that's gonna bring a little extra razzle-dazzle to the podcast. I'm known for a good lemon drop. So we gonna set up the bar, and I gotta do some little, you see how like right now, that's why I tell you this shit. I gotta do some little, something gotta be back here. I need to get somebody to make me a little sign, talk that some. Like, we gotta razzle it, dazzle it up in here. But for now, I just wanted to bring y'all something so y'all can know, like, I'm tuned in. Cause my friends keep telling me like, damn, you been posting about that podcast, you ain't made no episodes. episode 1 made. It's gonna be dropped this week. Stay tuned. Follow me. Tell your friend to follow me. Like, comment, subscribe. And if y'all want that motherfucker on this podcast, put on the couch in the comment sections below. On the couch. And we're gonna bring you. And on that note, your girl is